This is why selecting the right maize maturity is so important. The site that I'm standing on is at sea level, so let's grab a cob and head to another site which is at 700 foot above sea level to see what the difference is in maturity and when it's likely to be harvested. Just reached the site which is at 700 foot, let's grab a cob. We have both cobs. This one is from the site behind me, which is at 700 feet above sea level, and this one is from the lower site at sea level. Let's see what the difference is. First impressions. Let's start with the one from sea level. First thing that we can see is these grains are now starting to change colour and become darker than the one from 700 foot. So if we break this in half, the grains are not mature yet, and they're still very milky and soft. And if I was to taste one, I would probably just taste sugar and water, which is exactly what I taste. The starch hasn't laid down in this yet. However, it's starting to go, and it won't be long before the starch begins to lay down in this cob. And if we now compare this to the cob from 700 feet, the first thing we can see is the kernels are very pale compared to the one from sea level. This is a little bit darker and these are a bit more pale, indicating that this is further behind in terms of maturity. And if we break this apart and we just take one of the grains off and we give it a little bit of a squeeze, there is more moisture in here, and if we give it a little bit of a taste, I bet that it's very much water-based still, and there isn't much sugar in it. Yep, there is no sugary texture at all with that. It's still very, very watery. So, by my estimation, this is about 10 to 14 days behind the one from sea level. And it's worth bearing in mind that these are the same maturity, so we are comparing apples to apples. And the fact that there is a 10 to 14 day difference just exhibits the importance of selecting the right maturity for the right site that you have at home. One thing of note that you might have picked up on as the season progresses is that these maize plants, and probably a lot across the country that you will have seen, or maybe on your own farm, are under a lot of stress. So an example of this is the fact that a lot of these grain sites haven't filled and they have aborted. Now this is because that the plant is just gagging to get going and mature and finish because it has a lack of moisture, and it's trying to get through its growth stages and complete its growth as quickly as possible. And this is perfectly normal with the drought conditions that we've had all over the country.